Hello Stampers! It's Monday and I decided to do an easy card for you today, and we're going to be doing this scene right here, and we're going to be doing an ombre background panel which fits it perfectly. I think this would be a great guy card, and I didn't put a whole lot of like bling or anything on it. I kept the layout fairly simple, and I just think it's a beautiful card. This could also be a great sympathy card. Get well, thinking of you, just a note. Actually could go into birthday. It's just a really good scene that you can use for so many different occasions. This is a Grassy Grove stamp set that we're going to be using today. We're going to be using the trees out of the stamp set. And then it has a coordinating die set with it. And it has lots of dies. It has the fabulous trees here, and the dies for the deers. Now I use this die here, and I cut it out of a piece of cardstock. And we're going to be using the negative shape for this card, and this just gives you more options for your deer, because when you cut it out of the negative shape, guess what? You can use it. I'll put it over here so you can see. You can use it, the deer face in this direction, voila, or that direction. Use it as a stencil and use the negative side. Your deer goes into the scene. It's not like laying on top. That's a great option for some of the dies that you have. So give those a second thought sometimes and see what you can use with the negative part. So here we go. We're going to start with our main panel. This panel is basic white and it's 3x4. You're going to find all the dimensions for this card as usual down below this video. Just click show more and you'll see them all there, along with the links to the products that take you directly to my online store where you can shop with me 24/7. I have some great little extras too for my customers. So we have that panel, and then I have a double layer of Post-it notes here. This is a double layer, and I just took a Post-it note, actually two Post-it notes, a double layer of them, and then I punched it out with a 2 3/8, I think it is. Yep, 2 3/8 circle punch. And I cut as much as I could out of the sticky part of the top of the Post-it note. That way it sticks nicely to your panel here that you're going to be using. Now we have our panel going on there, and we're going to bring in some Balmy Blue. And I call this an easy one because really there's not a whole lot that's even difficult to this at all. So we're just going to take our Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to go barely to the bottom of that moon because most of it's going to be covered anyway. So I'm adding some good blue here. Now we're going to come in with a darker blue at the top, but I like to add like a base coat of my lightest color there. That way when you put that darker color on, it blends in with the other color and doesn't just sit on top. So we have that Balmy Blue. Now we're going to go to a darker color, and we're going to go to Night of Navy. And I'm going to add that to the top of the panel here. And I generally start when I add ink to my brush. I'm going to start up here at the top with this darker color, and as I work down it kind of blends in a little bit with that lighter color and doesn't like obliviate it. So we have plenty of that lighter color still going on there. I'm just going to get a little darker up here at the top. There we go, and there's that dark color. So that was Night of Navy. Okay, so I'm going to take my mask off here, and there's our big old moon. And I want to tone it down just a little bit and give it some like a moody color. So I'm just going to add some Balmy Blue to it a little bit, back with our blending brush. I'm just going to kind of add some spots in here. I don't want to add it all over the moon. It just gives it like a moon look. Okay, so just some of those spots in there. So there is our moon all nice and colored. I'm going to bring in some Memento Tuxedo Black. I'm going to get another blending brush out here. And this is where our little deer comes in. Now I want it facing its head on this side, on the left side. And I'm going to figure out where the bottom of our moon is. I'm just going to kind of hold this up and give it a look. I want the feet kind of at the bottom of the moon a bit. And then I want to make sure the deer is like inside that moon. So I have it there. I think I'm going to lift it up just a little bit here. There we go. And then you're just going to use it like a stencil. Just make sure you don't go over the cardstock there. And just like that, you have your wonderful deer in your scene. Okay, so we're done with that. Now check this out. I'm just going to add some of that black here with a blending brush. And I'm going to come up about halfway on his legs. And that's going to give the appearance that the scene goes on. And there might be some mist happening. So there we go. All right, and so when you put it with a blending brush, it's lighter. And now I'm just going to lift this ink pad up, and I'm going to use the edge of it, and I'm going to tilt my ink pad. I don't want it flat on the cardstock because it won't work well that way. It just sticks to the cardstock and makes a big mess. So make sure you're tilting your ink pad, and then we're just going to start dragging it across. And I'm just going to come up to the bottom of its feet. Okay, and you want it nice and dark. There we go, and there's our deer standing there. And I'm going to get a little darker down here at the bottom. So look at that. Okay, so then we have our lighter color up there, our lighter black. It looks almost gray. And then we have the darker down here, right at the bottom of its feet, where it's actually standing on the ground. So now I'm going to stand with that same Memento Tuxedo Black. I got my trees from the Grassy Grove stamp set here. And we're going to add these in here on this side of the cardstock. I like to hold this stamp down because it's a really fine stamp, the image is. And if you hold it down, you get a much better impression than if you just stamped it real fast. I see people do that, and they're not getting a good ink impression on their paper. So hold it down. Just make sure you're not rocking it while you're holding it. You're just holding it steady. So there's our trees. Look at that great scene. Guess what? It's done. The scene is done. Okay, so we're going to start. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and then we're going to go to our background panel for our front of our card. And I want to make this like an ombre. So with this scene here, we have the light blue and the dark at the top. This panel here, I want the light blue and then the dark at the bottom. I think that looks great with this scene. So we're going to just get our Balmy Blue back out here. And I'm going to add Balmy Blue over the bottom 2/3 of this panel. And we're just going to go really quick here and add it in. You're not going to see a lot of it because you got a panel going over it. You're going to see it mostly on the edges. So there's our Balmy Blue part. Uh-oh, guess what? I got a nice big smudge there. Oh, got a second side, right? I'm going to try that again. Try not to get blue at the top of my card. Okay, here we go. You know what? It happens to the best of us, right? Here we go. There's our Balmy Blue. Now we're going to go to our darker color, which is Night of Navy. And we're going to add that color in, starting at our bottom and working up. And make sure you get plenty of that on your cardstock and that you don't obliterate all of your Balmy Blue there. Okay, so we have those two colors on there. They kind of look like an ombre. And now I'm going to just go over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm bringing out this Distress Tiled 3D embossing folder. And I'm going to put my cardstock in here. And I just like the look of that ombre looking panel, and then we're going to emboss it. So I'm going to emboss it and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've got this all embossed. We're going to take it out of the embossing folder, see what a difference that makes. Oh, that's pretty. Really like that look, that embossing. I hope you can see the embossing on there. Just takes it to another level, and it's so easy to do. So there we have that. Now I'm going to switch out my scrap paper here. I have all that color on there, and I got white cardstock coming up. So we're just going to flip that over to the other side. Grab my other panels here. This is an easy card to put together. I'm going to take my main panel and I'm going to attach it to a basic white panel. It's just 1/8 inch larger than the main panel. So it just frames it out just a little bit. It's a weenie layer. So that means it doesn't hang out much. It just gives you a nice little frame without, overpowering things. See how that frames that out? So nice. Just that bit. And then we're going to add this to our cardstock up here, our emboss panel. And I'm just gluing this on. You can use whatever adhesive you like. I'm going to add a little love in there. And we're going to put it up here. I'm going to have it just a bit more towards the top. So I kind of watched how it framed it out, that these are kind of equal sides here. And there's a bit more here at the bottom. Okay, I've got it where I want it, so I'm just going to flip it over, give it a little rub there so it has good contact with that embossed panel. Now I'm going to grab some ribbon. And we have this, I thought I'd bring out the ombre ribbon. It's got blue and white. So it's Balmy Blue and white, and this is the variegated ribbon. And I think I'm going to have the blue color towards the bottom. I'm just going to add this on here, grab my scissors. I just want it a little longer than it is wide for the panel. I'm going to have it down here towards the bottom some. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to grab my mini glue dots and adhere those ends to the back of the card there. Oh, wants to stick to my fingernail. That happens when I just do my nails. Great. Okay. You're seeing this in real time, folks. All right. Add it on there. Press that in. Nice. There we go. Another glue dot. Sometimes they don't want to come off your finger. Do another. Here we go. Stick that in there. All right. So then we just kind of straighten it a little bit how we want it on the front. Make sure those are pressed in well on the back. And then we need another piece of that ribbon. We're going to make a bow in the front. Not really a bow. We're just going to tie it underneath, I think. Okay, I'm just going to slide it under this panel. Hope I'm in the frame here. Here we go. Just take it down. Give it a tie. I like to make sure that things are going the right directions before I pull it tightly. There we go. Grab those, pull them down. Now I'm just going to cut these off. There we go. There's our little tie for the front. And that is all the embellishment I think that we need for this card. I think that turned out just great, just perfect, just what I wanted. Okay, so I'm just going to add this to the front of my card base here. This is a basic white card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, and I folded it in half to create my quarter card. And inside I just added a Balmy Blue panel that's 4 by 5.25. Now if you're going to stamp your sentiment on here, I'd stamp it before you put it in your card. I'm not sure what I'm going to use this for yet, so I'm leaving mine blank for now. And that's how I store my cards generally, is leave them blank inside, and then when I know what I want to use it for, I either handwrite or add a sentiment to it. So I'm going to glue this on. You can certainly pop it up if you want some more dimension to your card. I'm just going to add it flat on there, and I'm going to add quite a bit of glue there and center it up. I just think that's so pretty. And then I'm going to make sure you press down where that ribbon is real well when you're gluing it on. Then you can flip it over and give it a rub too. And how about that? There is our card for today. I hope you enjoyed this project. Here's my original card. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this inspires you to get that ink out and maybe look at your dies a little differently and use the negative part and try that ombre out for a background. It's a simple background, but boy, it adds a lot to a card, I think. Take care. Toodles.